Are you looking to work in Canada and wondering how to obtain a work visa? Canada is a highly developed country with many opportunities for work and a good salary, which makes it an attractive destination for foreign workers. However, the process of obtaining a work visa can be complex and overwhelming. In this video, we'll guide you through the steps to get a Canada work visa, including the different types of work permits available, eligibility requirements, and the application process. Whether you're looking for an employer-specific work permit, an open work permit, or an International Experience Canada (IEC) work permit, we'll provide you with the information you need to succeed. So, let's dive in and explore how to get a Canada work visa. Let's look at the eligibility criteria for a Canadian work visa. To determine your eligibility for a Canadian work visa, here are the key criteria to consider. 1. Job offer. You will typically need a job offer from a Canadian employer before applying for a work visa. The job offer may require a positive labor market impact assessment, LMIA, or fall under specific exemptions. 2. Labor market impact assessment, LMIA. In some cases, your employer may need to obtain a positive LMIA, which demonstrates that there is a need for a foreign worker to fill the job position. This assessment ensures that hiring a foreign worker will not negatively impact the Canadian labor market. 3. Work permit type. There are different types of work permits, such as employer-specific work permits and open work permits. The specific type of work permit you apply for will depend on factors such as the job offer, your qualifications, and the duration of your intended stay in Canada. 4. Qualifications and experience. Depending on the work permit program, you may need to meet certain qualifications and have relevant work experience in your field. This can include educational requirements, language proficiency, and specific skills. 5. Financial requirements. You may need to demonstrate that you have enough funds to support yourself and any accompanying family members during your stay in Canada. This requirement ensures that you can cover living expenses without relying on public assistance. 6. Health and security checks. As part of the application process, you may be required to undergo medical examinations and provide police clearance certificates to ensure you meet health and security requirements. It's important to note that eligibility criteria can vary depending on the specific work permit program and your individual circumstances. What are the different types of Canadian work permits? There are different types of Canadian work permits, and the specific type of work permit you apply for will depend on factors such as the job offer, your qualifications, and the duration of your intended stay in Canada. Here are the different types of Canadian work permits. 1. Employer-specific work permit. This type of work permit is tied to a specific employer and job offer. It allows you to work in Canada according to the conditions on your work permit, such as the length of time you can work and the location of your work. 2. Open work permit. This type of work permit allows you to work for any employer in Canada. It is not job-specific, and you do not need a labor market impact assessment, LMIA, or an offer of employment to apply for this type of work permit. 3. International Experience Canada, IEC, work permit. This type of work permit is available to young people from countries that have a bilateral youth mobility agreement with Canada. It allows you to work in Canada for up to 2 years. 4. Intra-company transfer work permit. This type of work permit is available to employees of a foreign company who are being transferred to a Canadian branch, subsidiary, or affiliate of that company. 5. NAFTA work permit. This type of work permit is available to citizens of the United States and Mexico who are coming to Canada to work in certain professions covered under the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA. 6. Global Talent Stream work permit. This type of work permit is available to highly skilled workers who are coming to Canada to work in certain occupations. It is designed to help Canadian employers attract and retain global talent. What are the advantages and disadvantages of an employer-specific work permit versus an open work permit? Advantages of an employer-specific work permit. 1. Provides a clear job offer and employer, which can make it easier to obtain a work permit. 2. Offers a sense of job security and stability. 3. May lead to permanent residency if the job is in a high-demand occupation. Disadvantages of an employer-specific work permit. 1. Limits the ability to work for other employers or change jobs. 2. May require a positive labor market impact assessment, LMIA, which can be time-consuming and costly for the employer. 3. May be tied to a specific location or region, which can limit flexibility. Advantages of an open work permit. 1. Allows for greater flexibility to work for any employer in Canada. 2. Does not require a job offer or LMIA, which can make it easier to obtain a work permit. 3. Provides freedom of movement between workplaces, employers, occupations, and locations in Canada. Disadvantages of an open work permit. 1. May not provide the same level of job security or stability as an employer-specific work permit. 2. May not lead to permanent residency unless the holder is able to secure a job offer in a high-demand occupation. 3. May require the holder to demonstrate sufficient funds to support themselves and any accompanying family members during their stay in Canada. Application process for an employer-specific work permit. 1. Job offer. You will need a job offer from a Canadian employer before applying for an employer-specific work permit. 2. Labor Market Impact Assessment, LMIA. In most cases, your employer will need to obtain a positive LMIA, which demonstrates that there is a need for a foreign worker to fill the job position. This assessment ensures that hiring a foreign worker will not negatively impact the Canadian labor market. 3. Employer sponsorship. Your employer will typically need to submit an offer of employment through the employer portal and pay the employer compliance fee. 4. Proof of job offer. You will need to provide documentation, such as a copy of the job offer letter, to support your application. 5. Specific work permit application. You will apply for an employer-specific work permit, indicating the details of the job offer and employer. Application process for an open work permit. 1. No job offer required. An open work permit does not require a specific job offer from a Canadian employer. 2. No LMIA required. An open work permit does not require a positive LMIA. 3. General work permit application. You will apply for an open work permit, indicating that you are seeking an open work permit without a specific job offer. 4. Proof of eligibility. You may need to provide documentation to demonstrate your eligibility for an open work permit, such as proof of relationship if applying as a spouse or common law partner of a student or worker in Canada. 5. Flexibility in employment. An open work permit allows you to work for any employer in Canada, without restrictions on the type of job or location. An employer-specific work permit in Canada has certain restrictions in terms of changing employers or job positions. Here are the limitations of an employer-specific work permit. 1. Limits the foreign national to only one employer and is only authorized to work for one position, in Canada. 2. Allows you to work according to the conditions on your work permit, which include the name of the employer you can work for, how long you can work for this employer, and the location where you can work, if applicable. 3. Changing employers or job positions may require a new work permit application and a new labor market impact assessment, LMIA. 4. The employer-specific work permit is tied to a specific employer and job offer, which can limit the ability to work for other employers or change jobs. The International Experience Canada, IEC, program allows foreign youth aged 18 to 35 to obtain a temporary work permit, enabling them to travel and work in Canada for up to 2 years. Here are some key points about the IEC work permit. 1. Eligibility. To be eligible for the IEC work permit, you must meet the age requirements, citizenship requirements, and any specific criteria set by your country of citizenship. Each country has its own quota and specific requirements for participation in the IEC program. 2. Temporary work permit. The IEC work permit is a temporary permit that allows you to work in Canada for a specific period, typically up to 2 years. 3. Quotas and invitations. The IEC program operates on a quota system, with a limited number of spots available each year. Invitations are issued to eligible candidates based on the available quota. The number of invitations can vary each year, and the program may open and close throughout the year depending on the demand. 4. Health insurance. As an IEC work permit holder, you are required to have health insurance coverage for the duration of your stay in Canada. This ensures that you have access to necessary healthcare services during your time in the country. 5. Extension and changes. In certain situations, it is possible to extend your participation or make changes to your IEC work permit. However, these situations are limited, and you must meet specific criteria to be eligible for an extension or change. Here are some key points about the GTS work permit. 1. Eligibility. The GTS work permit is available to innovative Canadian companies that are referred to Employment and Social Development Canada, ESDC, by a designated referral partner and that need unique and specialized foreign nationals in order to scale up and grow. It is also intended for firms in Canada that need to fill an in-demand, highly skilled position on the Global Talent Occupations list. 2. Processing time. The GTS work permit allows certain skilled workers to obtain a work permit within 2 weeks of applying. It is one of the pillars of Canada's temporary foreign worker program. 3. Categories. The GTS accepts applications through 2 categories. Category A and Category B. Category A is for employers who need to hire highly skilled foreign workers for unique and specialized positions that cannot be filled by Canadian citizens or permanent residents. Category B is for employers who need to hire highly skilled foreign workers for in-demand occupations on the Global Talent Occupations list. It's important to note that the GTS program and its requirements can change over time, so it's advisable to consult official government resources or seek professional advice for the most up-to-date and accurate information regarding the GTS work permit. Are you a foreign worker looking for job opportunities in Canada? If you're interested in LMIA jobs, you're in the right place. In this video, we'll show you how to find LMIA jobs in Canada using various resources, including the official Canada Job Bank website and other job search websites. We'll also discuss the specific eligibility criteria and requirements for LMIA jobs, as well as the documents you need to apply for an LMIA exempt work permit under the Express Entry program. So, whether you're a skilled immigrant or a truck driver, stay tuned to learn how to find LMIA jobs in Canada. LMIA jobs are important for foreign workers in Canada for several reasons. Here are some reasons why LMIA jobs are crucial for foreign workers. Employment opportunities. LMIA jobs provide foreign workers with employment opportunities in Canada, allowing them to work and live in the country. Work permit eligibility. LMIA jobs are often required for foreign workers to be eligible for a work permit in Canada. Immigration pathways. LMIA jobs can also serve as a pathway to permanent residency in Canada. Many of Canada's immigration pathways to permanent residency require that applicants show a positive LMIA in order to claim points for a Canadian job offer. Compliance with regulations. LMIA jobs ensure that Canadian employers comply with regulations and demonstrate that no Canadian citizen or permanent resident is ready, willing, and able to fill a specific position in Canada. Positive impact on the Canadian labor market. The LMIA process serves as proof that hiring foreign nationals in the specified occupation and at the specified work location is likely to have a positive or neutral impact on the Canadian labor market. To find LMIA, Labor Market Impact Assessment, jobs in Canada, you can consider the following methods. Canada Job Bank. Visit the official Canada Job Bank website and follow these steps. Scroll down to the Temporary Foreign Worker section. Click on the Search button to view all job postings. Use the search fields at the top of the page to filter job postings by job title or keywords. Within the filter options, select the checkbox for LMIA Approved under Labor Market Impact Assessment, LMIA, Status. Job search websites. Explore other job search websites such as Jubal, Canada Job Bank, LinkedIn Jobs, and Glassdoor. Use their search functions and filters to find LMIA jobs in Canada. Networking. Tap into your professional network and let people know that you are looking for LMIA jobs. Attend job fairs, industry events, and networking sessions to connect with potential employers and learn about job opportunities. Recruitment agencies. Contact recruitment agencies that specialize in placing foreign workers in Canadian jobs. They may have access to LMIA-approved job openings and can assist you in the application process. Company websites. Visit the websites of companies you are interested in working for and check their career pages for job postings. Some companies may explicitly mention if they are open to hiring foreign workers or if they have LMIA-approved positions available. LMIA requirements for employees. This is where our interest is. 1. Have a qualified education, such as a university degree, college diploma, apprenticeship training, or certification in a related educational program. 2. Possess the necessary skills and qualifications required for the specific job. 3. Meet any additional eligibility criteria based on the job category, such as compliance with safety standards and regulations for certain positions like truck drivers. It's important to note that the LMIA process is typically initiated by the employer, and they must apply for the LMIA on behalf of the employee. The LMIA is a document issued by Employment and Social Development Canada, ESDC, that assesses the impact of hiring a foreign national in Canada. The eligibility criteria for different job categories under the LMIA, Labour Market Impact Assessment, program in Canada can vary based on the specific job category. Here are some examples of eligibility criteria for different job categories. Truck drivers. Canadian companies wishing to hire foreign workers for truck driving positions must demonstrate compliance with safety standards and regulations for commercial trucks in Canada. Skilled immigrants. Express entry. Some jobs do not need an LMIA. 1. For example, if you have been working full-time for the employer on your work permit for at least 1 year, you have a valid job offer, and you have a valid work permit that is exempt from an LMIA under an international agreement, a federal-provincial agreement, or the Canadian interests category. 2. Skilled work permits. Generally, for skilled work permits, applicants need to have 3 years of experience depending on the occupation, and in certain cases, only relevant education may be required. 3. Other job categories. In addition to the general LMIA requirements for all employers, there are specific eligibility criteria based on the job category. 4. For example, employers must be capable of fulfilling all the terms of the job offer for foreign workers, including paying a salary that meets the LMIA wage requirements. 5. Employers must not have laid off any employees in the 12-month period preceding the application for the same occupation they are seeking to fill. 6. Employers must have no outstanding compliance issues, and they must ensure that returning employers adhere to the terms of previous LMIAs. 7. Under the Express Entry Program, there are specific job categories that are exempt from the LMIA, Labour Market Impact Assessment, requirement in Canada. Here are the eligibility criteria for LMIA-exempt job categories for skilled immigrants. You have been working full-time for the employer on your work permit for at least 1 year, or an equal amount of part-time work. You have a valid job offer from a specific employer or employers. You have a valid work permit that is exempt from an LMIA under an international agreement, a federal-provincial agreement, the Canadian interests category. It's important to note that for skilled trade jobs, up to 2 employers can make a job offer, and you must work for both those employers. These LMIA-exempt job categories aim to facilitate the hiring of skilled immigrants who have already been working in Canada and have established themselves in the labor market. By exempting these job offers from the LMIA requirement, it streamlines the process for employers and applicants under the Express Entry Program. To apply for a work permit under the LMIA-exempt category for skilled immigrants under the Express Entry Program, you can follow these steps. Determine your eligibility. Ensure that you meet the eligibility criteria for the LMIA-exempt category. This includes having worked full-time for the employer on your work permit for at least 1 year, or an equal amount of part-time work, having a valid job offer, and having a valid work permit that is exempt from an LMIA under an international agreement, a federal-provincial agreement, or the Canadian interests category. Gather required documents. Collect all the necessary documents for your work permit application. This may include your job offer letter, contract, proof of work experience, educational qualifications, and any other supporting documents required by the immigration authorities. Submit your application. Apply for a work permit through the appropriate channels. You can submit your application online through the Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada (IRCC) website or by mail, depending on the specific instructions provided by IRCC. Pay the application fees. Pay the required application fees for your work permit application. The fees can vary depending on the type of work permit and your country of residence. Wait for a decision. After submitting your application, you will need to wait for a decision from IRCC. The processing time can vary, so it is important to check the current processing times on the IRCC website. Provide additional information if requested. If IRCC requires any additional information or documents to process your application, make sure to provide them promptly to avoid delays. Receive your work permit. If your application is approved, you will receive your work permit. Make sure to review the details on the work permit to ensure accuracy. It is important to note that the application process and requirements may change over time, so it is recommended to refer to the official government websites or consult with immigration professionals for the most up-to-date and accurate information. When applying for an LMIA-exempt work permit under the Express Entry Program, the specific documents required may vary depending on the circumstances and the specific LMIA-exempt category. However, here are some common documents that may be required. Job offer letter. A valid job offer letter from a Canadian employer is typically required. The letter should include details such as job title, job description, salary, and duration of employment. Proof of work experience. Documents that demonstrate your work experience, such as reference letters, employment contracts, or pay stubs, may be required to support your application. Valid work permit. You will need to provide a copy of your valid work permit that is exempt from an LMIA under an international agreement, a federal provincial agreement, or the Canadian interests category. Passport or travel documents. A copy of your passport or travel documents that show your identity and travel history may be required. Education credentials. Depending on the job category, you may need to provide educational documents, such as diplomas, degrees, or educational assessment reports, to demonstrate your qualifications. Language test results. Language test results, such as IELTS or CELPIP, may be required to demonstrate your proficiency in English or French. Other supporting documents. Additional documents may be required based on the specific LMIA-exempt category and the requirements set by Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, IRCC. These may include health records, financial records, or any other documents that support your application. It is important to carefully review the specific requirements for the LMIA-exempt category you are applying under and consult official government websites or seek advice from immigration professionals for the most accurate and up-to-date information regarding the required documents. Subscribe to our channel. Click on the notification bell. Thank you for watching.